in just a few weeks we can finally dive into the world of Wuthering Waves. But between all the chaos and change, there will always be the one question: how many pulls can I actually get, and how do I get them? I mean, it is a gacha game after all. Well, to answer that question, I spent the last few days watching back and forth over 80 hours of footage from myself and others from the CBT2, as well as researching the internet. Let's talk about all the ways of how you can obtain Astrite and free pulls within the first month of Wuthering Waves. Before we get started, a short disclaimer. First of all, you can find the link to the sheet in the description. Secondly, as I already said, this is mostly based on information from the CBT2, and thirdly, not only am I human and am hence prone to mistakes, I also might simply have just missed some things. If you notice any mistakes or have anything to add, please do so in the comments. I will edit the sheet whenever I find a mistake or new information. Also, apparently only 5% of you are subscribed, so yeah, subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Without further ado, let's get started. So let's shortly have a look on what we will touch on in this video. First, I will give you a rundown of all the sources for pulls in Astrite in the game, at least to the best of my knowledge. This section is a bit rough honestly, because it's basically just listing numbers, but please bear with me. Afterwards, because of the disclaimer which follows right after this one, we will have a look at how many you can realistically get. That said, first let's make sure we are all on the same page. This sheet assumes a playtime of 30 days, and a very active 30 days at that, since I have included basically every single chest, puzzle, title heritage, quest, event rewards, level rewards and much more. Which means I do indeed assume in this sheet that you have literally finished the game and done everything there possibly is to do within those 30 days. Well, except events. Is that very realistic for most of you? Probably not. For me neither. That's why we have the second part of the video. However, in any case, this sheet may help you as an overview to see where you might still have rewards left and which ones you can easily obtain. So first up, let's get some obvious things out of the way, shall we? You can receive a total of 8 standard banner pulls and a free Sanhua from the 7-day login event, as well as 1600 Astrite and 40 standard banner pulls from the Awakening journey. Starting at Union level 10, you unlock the handbook, and doing so allows you to do your daily tasks, which will reward you with 60 Astrite a day, which will total up to 1800 over the first month. If you have decided to pay for the 30-day subscription, you may also enjoy an additional 3000. The character trials for the banner characters will grant you 40 more. I will also just go ahead and do indeed include the 20 standard banner pulls and 200 Astrite from the pre-registration rewards as well. That said, Wuthering Waves also features a total of 211 achievements, which will reward you in total with 1834 Astrites if you have done them all. Achievements are divided into different, let's call them levels, and reward you with either 5, 10, 15 or 20 Astrite, depending on the difficulty and importance. So far, we have covered the most obvious information, and these are likely also nothing new to you. So let's start cooking. I mean, literally, because cooking in this game will increase your chef level for another 200 Astrite and 200 more from the synthesis level from crafting items. Trading your Sonin's caskets at the Relic Merchant will also reward you with 650 Astrite, and the data bank also has a further 920 for you if you manage to reach terminal level 20. Exploring the entire map and telling the Pioneer Association about it are another 550. To get there though, you first need to have completed every single quest in the game. Probably. Maybe not. Actually, I honestly don't know. But I also don't have data for every single quest. However, I think I caught quite a few here. 2460 Astrite are yours if you finish all main, side, companion, exploration and tutorial quests. And since completing all quests is still not enough for the Pioneer Association to give you the max rank, you will also need to find nearly every single chest and title heritage, as well as solve all puzzles in the game. Or at least a large portion of them, so let's talk about it. However, when talking about chests, we need another short disclaimer. I know there are quite a few in this video, but bear with me. There are around 1380 chests, heritages and puzzles combined in the game, and for obvious reasons I cannot include every single one here, like I don't have that data. However, I managed to include a large amount of them, at least I think so, 707 to be exact. And those 707 chests and puzzles will be another 5509 Astrite. That leaves another 667 chests or puzzles I don't yet know about. Let's just assume an average of 8 Astrite from those. In that case, there would be another 4282 Astrite I have actually not included in the sheet. That would be around 26 pulls. When talking about chests, they will also contain wood grain fragments, which you can exchange at the gift shop for 5 standard banner pulls. That all being said, let's talk about the endgame. Clearing the Tower of Adversity completely, and I will be real here, I don't think that is reasonable for a large portion of the player base within the first month. But anyway, if you did that, in that very case, you would earn yourself another 3350 Astrite. That does include clearing the stable zone for 800 Astrite, the experimental zone for 1000, the hazard zone for 750, and spending all the points you earned during that time in the drill store. I would argue the stable and experimental zone are realistic to clear for most within the first month. Speaking of endgame already, clearing all the hologram difficulties as well as all world bosses will also give you another 920. Every world boss and hologram difficulty you clear will give you 20 Astrite, making 920 in total. And the roguelike mode, Depth of the Illusion Realms, will be another 585 Astrite if you manage to clear fully the content as well as doing all of their achievements. The Battle Pass provides you with 5 free pulls for the standard banner, and if you buy the premium version you may enjoy 2 more standard pulls as well as 5 pulls for the event banner. There are still other ways to obtain some Astrite, such as reading the tutorials, which will be literally 1 Astrite per entry, so let's maybe add another 50 from that as well. And there are also these little things which spawn randomly, so I cannot account for those. And last but not least, if you also finish your handbook, there are another 480 Astrite waiting for you. So yeah, those should hopefully be all the ways of how you can obtain Astrite and Wuthering Waves within the first month. And if we add up all of those together, we get to a total of 22,049 Astrite and 80 standard pulls, making 215 pulls in total if you are completely free to play, and up to 241 pulls if you decide to spend a bit of money on the subscription and battle pass. However, there are some things to keep in mind. Again, we do not know yet which kind of events we might get, and hence there will be additional rewards for those as well. Also, we have no idea if any rewards have been changed or added, and in that case I would argue we can probably add another 20 pulls on top of that to just make up for those unknown factors. So let's talk about how many of these pulls are actually realistic for you to get. However, to do so, we first have to understand that certain areas, activities or features are locked behind your union level. So bear with me. Let's have a look at how far you can get into the game within the first day of playing. Since we are talking about efficiency here, I will assume you are either skipping the story and play for 16 hours or read the story and play for 20 hours. If you cannot do this within the first day of playing, you should just give up entirely. You cannot recover your account and it is bricked forever. Obviously just kidding. Finishing the main quests in this game will get you 12,700 Union XP, which is around Union level 12. The handbook is a little bit difficult to assess, but I reckon you might be able to get around 3,000 Union XP from it within the first day. That's 15,700 or level 14. Another 2,000 from your dailies, as well as 1,800 from spending your wave plates. That makes 19,800 or Union level 16. The exploration quests are reasonable as well, that's another 4,000. Add on to that the companion quests for 10,000. That makes 33,800 Union experience or level 22. Let's assume you are able to open around 100 chests a day on day 1. Given they provide between 10 and 30 experience each, heavily favored towards smaller chests, let's assume just 15 experience each. That makes 1,500, which means we can reasonably finish at Union level 23 with a total of 35,300 XP. Reasonably in quotes, because playing for 1 day straight is not reasonable, but I want to prove a point here. Anyway, this allows you to level your characters up to level 50 and you have most of the game's features unlocked within the first day, except for the holograms. With level 50 characters you are also able to at least clear the stable zone of the Tower of Adversity, well, given your equipment is good enough. This also means we have access to basically all Astrite income within the first day with a very few exceptions. And that in turn again means that we can reasonably obtain all Astrite and pulls in the game within the first month. Well, again, with a few exceptions. We will likely not get all 211 achievements, so let's dump that down to 150. Obviously, due to different reward levels, let's just assume you would get 75% of the total income, which would result in 1380 Astrite, which means we are missing out on 455 Astrite, which are not even 3 pulls. Let's also assume, just for good measure, that we are not able to clear the Tower of Adversity's hazard zone. That's another 800 Astrite we are missing. And that's probably it. In total we are missing out on around 7 pulls, or 1255 Astrite. I want to emphasize that it is not required to do everything within the first day. My point I want to prove being, if you can get this done within 1 day, certainly can do it within the first month. And some content creators, like Rexland, have been reaching Union level 22 within the first day during the CBT, so it certainly is possible. Anyway, now that we know we are basically able to access most pulls relatively easy, let's find out which ones are the hardest ones to get. Well, technically I already answered that. It is those which require a high investment in your teams and characters, or in other words, the endgame. That also means you should get your data bank or terminal level raised as soon as possible, so you are able to farm the best echoes. This will grant you access to all the endgame content, which in turn will also provide you again with some of the missing achievements. And that's it. So what do you think? Do we get enough pulls? Not enough? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace.